are very lucky to have Josh Dickey as our moderator today. He's the film editor at Variety, and more importantly, he's a huge Tron fan himself. So here is Josh Dickey.
Greetings, programs! I always wanted to do that. Thank you for letting me dehumanize you all just for a moment there. I suppose I should have said greetings, users, but that I don't think would have gone over quite as well. Welcome to the Tron Uprising panel. I am so psyched to see so many of you here on TV Day at Comic-Con. This show is the coolest thing I have seen in animation, and I'm a little bit biased maybe, but I think you'll all agree from what you've all seen for these first handful of episodes and the new stuff that they're going to show us today, that this is the most innovative, cinematic animation that I have ever seen on television that we'll probably see for a long time, and we're so lucky to get to share a bunch of it with you and the stars, who I'm going to bring out in just a second here. So thank you very much for coming. This is awesome. Woo! Hot July day in 1982, my friend Jesse Overton and I, 10 years old, piled into Jesse's mom's car and went to the Eden Prairie, Minnesota Cineplex to see Tron. And I didn't really know exactly what was going to happen that day, just kind of looked cool, but what I came to find was that I believed in the digital frontier that day as I do now. I still think that the future of mankind, of humanity, of whatever our collective consciousness is someday going to wind up interfacing with the computer. It blew my mind when I saw it. It continues to blow my mind to this day, and I think there is no sci-fi property out there that is more hewn to the realities of where we're going than Tron. So, big round of applause to Liz Berger and everybody on
Yeah.
First person I'm going to bring out is the keeper of the Tron torch for now. He is the executive producer and director of Tron Uprising, and a really, really nice guy. Please welcome to the stage Charlie Bean.
Yeah.
After Charlie, we have the two consulting producers who have developed the series for Disney XD, Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz. Yeah, you guys can sit on each other's laps. It's okay. We won't judge. There you go, guys.
Disney would only let us have one chair.
He plays Beck, who is, I mean, let's face it, he is Tron. He's fighting for the cause. He's the man. Elijah Wood. Thanks, Elijah. Another gentleman you may recognize. He fights for the user. The man himself, the original Tron, Bruce Boxleitner. Our next guest you may recognize as the voice of the grid. Please welcome Tricia Helfer. Tricia, can we get some grid? Can we get some grid right now? Like, would you please hold your applause or something like that? Can you give us a little?
Would you please hold your applause until after derezzing?
And next to the guys who are really responsible for the awesome look and feel of Tron Uprising, first of all, we have the art director, Alberto Nielgo. Alberto, you kind of look like you just came fresh off the grid, actually. Are you a real Tron person? Is there any... No? No? No, okay. And the lead character designer, Mr. Rob Valley. Rob? Welcome to Tron Uprising panel. Thank you for being here, everybody. We have some fun stuff coming up after we're done. We're going to see some really cool footage, and then we have stuff to give away. There's a raffle going on here. I happen to know that we're giving away some signed discs and a very, very special super prize. So everybody stand by for that before we get out of here today. I'd like to, now, are we going to, see, we're going to do, oh, I'm sorry, the season sizzle. Okay, so at this point, Beck has established himself as the renegade. People are starting to take sides. There's a new weapon in the mix that's really throwing off the balance between, especially on the Tesla side of things. So before we dive into where we're going with Tron Legacy, let's take a quick look at where we've been so far. So starting out, I want to ask a question sort of all the panel, but Charlie, I want you to take it first. With all the superhero reboots that are taking place these days, and in particular properties that are based on many, many years of canon, I'm thinking the Avengers go back, darn near 40 years or so, 50 years in some cases of the characters. What you guys are doing is creating a new canon. You are literally creating canon for a franchise that we've all come to love, rather than drawing upon it, repurposing it, and stuff like that. So I guess the question is, in that way, do you think that this is a bigger accomplishment than Joss Whedon's The Avengers?
You're gonna drop a bomb, dude.
What? The question stands. It's all.
I love you.
But do talk, please, in terms of, you are breaking new ground with every episode here. All this stuff now belongs to the Tron universe, and how exciting that must be.
It's amazing. Well, I mean, there's just the two films. It isn't this huge, deep mythology, but it seems like there's this potential for all the mythology. So I think, and this really goes to you guys. It's when you guys were writing the film, it just seemed like stories were exploding of like possibilities that could happen on the grid, and I think that's sort of the inception of where the series comes from, as far as like where we could go with this, and what can happen. And I think the two films are really about seeing the grid from the perspective of the user. It's like this idea of like what it would be like for one of us to go inside of a virtual world and see that. And the series is really about what is life like on the grid? Like what is it for the average program, and what their lives are like?
Yeah, when we were writing Legacy, there was so much of the world that we wanted to explore, but that you couldn't explore in just a 2-hour movie. So as the ideas were flowing, like we just kept getting more and more excited about things we could do, and we were just incredibly grateful to get the opportunity to try to explore more of the grid in this world.
Yeah, really the inspiration for this was we wanted to, in Legacy, Kevin Flynn talks about how special the grid was, and this show shows it. You see these programs evolving, and you see them becoming, more complex and doing more than their programming, and to us, that's what was interesting.
Elijah, you are now involved in the Lord of the Rings series, and now Tron. The two nerdiest possible things you can be involved with. Are you thinking about joining Star Trek for the Holy Trifecta? Maybe Star Trek 3. Yeah.
I think they're already finished with Star Trek 2.
It's a little late to get in on that shoot now. There might be reshoots, you never know.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah. No, but that's pretty geeky stuff, guy.
It's super geeky. I managed to stay within this universe somehow, the Comic-Con universe. But I'm a fan as well of Tron, and I came to Tron really late. I was really young when the movie came out, the first one, and I missed it. But it was one of those things that I was always aware of it in my life, even before the second film came out. I had a sense of anticipation for it because it's part of pop culture. So I knew about the grid. I understood conceptually what it was about. I mean, I played the video game growing up. So when this came about, I was already a fan of Legacy, and the idea of doing an animated series within the context of that universe was really exciting. And I'm a nerd, so.
It's okay.
We already knew that, Elijah. Even that's not news to anybody. Bruce, take us back 30 years or so, and you're in a super hot and sweaty hockey helmet, smoking cigarettes with Bridges, hanging out on the set.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Just making. I'm just spitballing here.
We all know the dude, don't we? You really believe cigarettes?
Digital jazz, man.
Digital jazz. Yeah. 30 years ago last week.
Is that right?
Tron came out. It reminds me I'm the oldest man in the room. No, it's been quite amazing. And this, Tron Uprising, it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm absolutely overwhelmed to be a part of it. This is where it was pointing. This is a very logical area for the mythology to go into the animated series. This guy here is an absolute honor to work with him, even though we only did it once in a booth together for all the powers that be to see if this thing would fly. And but yet I think we do some good work together. It's amazing. It's so incredible to be still a part of this mythology. That's what I call it. I think it is a mythology. I think it's a mythology of our time, the digital age, the age of information. It's the language you all grew up on. I came to that late. Even though I was in the forefront of it, I had no idea what I was doing. I was reminded, I did a panel with Harrison Ellenshaw, who was the head of effects in the original film, and he was telling us about what an amazing accident Tron really was. Not an accident, but I mean, we didn't know what we were doing when we were doing it. We were paving a new trail here, and in the effects world, a lot of it was hand painted, believe it or not. Everybody thinks it was just sort of put in a computer and it came out like out of a toaster. And there it was. It was all colored and everything. No, it was. There are many artists in Taiwan that had their hands on this, frame by frame. Tron was a daring step into the future. It's funny that in 1982, we were exempt from the Oscars in the animation department. You may have heard this already. They said that we had cheated. We had used a computer. How far we've come. That's exactly. So it's very ironic.
Technology.
And now look at the animation here. I mean, this is just the top of the line. It's absolutely beautiful, frame by frame. As far as I'm concerned.
Retroactive Oscars.
Absolutely, start the campaign.
That's right. Let's get a hashtag going, guys. Come on. Get those phones up. Right now. We're going to do this in real time. Tricia, you are the voice of a whole entire world. You are, it's all, like, what's my motivation here? I'm an entire world. Where do you go to become the voice of the grid? What's your method? She sits in a trailer for like 2 hours before they get. It's really technology.
Yes, as Bruce told me this morning, I'm the god of the grid.
Goddess.
Yeah, really, I just listen to what Charlie says. I didn't see the original either. I was around, and I'm not going to say for how many years, but I was definitely, I should have seen it, but I didn't. So when I got involved in it, I was kind of, what are you, Trekkies, Tronies?
What are
Tronnies?
Well, there were Trekkies, yeah.
So I was kind of a virgin Tronnie.
I heard someone say programs.
Is that a virgin program?
Tranny is a whole different thing.
That's why I tentatively said it, okay? Especially prefaced with virgin. Yeah, no, you know, the first session was
I've seen them.
the first session was really, you know, trying to find the voice, trying to find if it's a little more sultry, a little bit higher, and also what happens, you know, if a train crash is going on. That specifically was the first session, I think. Is there more inflection in the voice? Is there any tension or change in the voice? And we just kept going back to this very, very pleasant OnStar. Your Surrey voice, which I hate Surrey because I can never make her do what I want. I almost broke my phone a few times. But, so we just kept going back to this voice, and that's what, it's kind of eerie in its own way when something is, you know, just talking about something very good, and welcome programs, welcome to the, or you're about to be de-rezzed. It's eerie in its own way because of that.
You have created this world that I just want to jump into. Like I'm sorry guys, this is cool and everything, but I would go on the grid just like that. It wouldn't have any question. And your vision of it in particular, what I really, really like about it, and it harkens back to the original movie in a way, is that some of it looks very sleek and digital, and some of it looks very tactile. But but it's seamless. It's all blended. It all looks just right. What on earth did you use, or what have you done in your background that influenced that look, that brings that look, and even makes it possible?
Well, that's a very good question. In fact, I learned painting in a computer myself. The first time that I was starting to messing around with painting, of course, when I was a kid, I was messing with proper painting. But when I really started like getting serious into painting professionally, it was with a computer. And I think that one of the things that I'm quite proud of this show is that this probably 100% digital piece of art is where I think is the most important thing that I was looking here. And we are not trying to look like oil painting or like watercolors or like acrylic. We are trying to look basically digital. And the nice thing about that is that this is a digital world because it's inside of a computer. And also the good thing is that we are showing this in TV screens, in computers, and I think that people should watch this in the highest resolution as possible, in the best quality as possible in their computers at home or taking from iTunes, whatever, because it's like the super sharp, cool version, and this is what we are intending. Like people enjoy the show in the best quality as possible.
We're lucky enough at the preview to see it on a big screen in a big screening room.
I know.
It's a very cinematic. I mean, obviously it's very cinematic, and you guys look to experience that here. But I almost feel like I need to go out and buy a 400-inch television just to watch this thing, just to watch the show the way that it was meant to be seen.
Well, that's so big, man. There are so many.
Yeah, I know. I'm a journalist. I'm not getting a 400-inch television. So, Rob. I think the challenge for you is to create characters that are very distinctive in a world that has a lot of homogeny, and the characters definitely pop when you see them. In particular, when we see a new character for the first time, it's one of my favorite things about watching the show. Is that moment when a new character is introduced. In particular, I loved what you guys did with Cora the other week. That was really cool to see her. But if you get into a little bit for me, you know, the characters, it's a really interesting blend of different racial types, of different facial structures. Like there's just a whole, it has a very sort of worldly, international feel to it, and I'm curious what your process is for developing the characters. They just come out of you, right? I knew it.
Well, Charlie and I, you know, in the early days, we were talking about just doing exactly that. You know, not, I guess making it interracial, not necessarily politically correct, I suppose, but, you know, I just wanted to play around with stuff like that, you know.
I mean, it's nice to hear you say that because that was was sort of the intention. I think Rob and I, like from the beginning, we just like faces and like faces from all kinds of different cultures. So we're like looking at pictures and looking at photographs of people with interesting faces, almost in a Fellini type way, where it's like we want interesting looking faces in the show. So we're looking at lots of, and haircuts and all kinds of stuff like that, where we want stuff that was really dynamic and really interesting.
Yeah, more specifically, I just dig holes. Charlie tells me where to dig.
I want to go like that.
Not true.
One of the things that we're going to get to see here in a minute is going to be the two-part episode, Scars, which is going to show us some backstory, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a trailer, not the show, not the episode.
Not the episode yet. Oh, yeah, sorry. Calm down. That we'll get into the story of how Tron is scarred by how Clue overthrows, and we see a glimpse of that in the movie. But how much is that arc going to be all played out in the past, and how much are we ever going to get?
Well, not to give too much of it away, but I mean, I think we've sort of been leading towards this for the season. This is the first real connective tissue to Legacy, and to the moment that you see in Legacy when Clue takes over, and Tron is defeated at that point. So I think that from the beginning and sort of the inception of the series, it was always sort of leading towards this, and this is maybe the first piece of that larger story that we've been alluding to and we've been heading towards. And I think that a lot of people have been saying from the beginning with Uprising, they're saying, well, we don't get it. I mean, Tron became Rinsler, and we saw him become Rinsler in that moment. And from the beginning of this, we've been saying, yeah, there's more to that story, and this is the first piece of revealing a little bit more of that story.
So you just answered my next question, which was going to be, are we ever going to get in to see how Tron becomes Rinsler? Is that going to be part of your arc, do you think, at some point?
We will find out about Rinsler, I think is we're ultimately going to.
Now, Bruce, do you have a different Tron and Rinsler voice? Do you do anything different? Because it does sound different when he gets the armor. Or is it?
He purrs like a kitty. Yeah, because I have a helmet covering my face.
In the booth, right?
Not like the hockey helmet I wore in 1981. No, the Rinsler was cool. I wished I'd had that outfit back then. It's a hot looking outfit.
Yeah, how was that? How when is that for Halloween?
Yeah. No, I'll have to see if I can find that voice. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll find it. Don't worry.
You have it in you to be the bad guy, though, right? It's not like.
I've been a bad guy before.
Yes, I get that sense.
Yeah.
I get that feeling. Now, Elijah. He told me a story one time, and he probably doesn't remember.
Yes. No. Don't tell that story.
No. I won't. Elijah, if there's and we are all sort of on pins and needles for Disney to get going with this third sequel, right? The movie that we Do you think we'll see Beck in it if that be the case? Will he be referenced? Will he be a part of the storyline? No pressure,
That's a
fellas.
very good question. What do you think? Would he? I suppose there's a possibility, but it also depends on where this story goes.
Here's the thing. I think that as you said, this is a part of the canon of the overall mythology, and we are currently developing the sequel to Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
You never know, how these will tie together. So
Tron Uprising is a part of it all now, so we want it all to tie together, and that's the goal.
Yes!
All right. Well, I think at this point we should probably have a look at some new stuff. What do you guys think? So, Charlie, are you going to introduce Scars for us? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it. Really, what it is. This is after we come back from this break, there will be one. I
believe, one more episode, and then we're going to show these two episodes. It's a two-part story. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it already, so maybe we should just watch it and we can talk more about it.
Get it on. So as you see, everybody up here now is holding a really cool identity disc with another special goodie. Oh, and they're all signed. But they don't get to take them home. You do. Yeah. We're gonna draw for those in a minute. But before we do, we're gonna take some audience questions. Alrighty? Do we have a lineup that we wanted to do, or how would you get them? Oh, look at that. I think that's probably all we're going to be able to handle, guys. You can. Sorry for not lying. Jem definitely gets to answer a question, though. I should let you go first, but we'll be. Go ahead, young man.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
It's an honor to see you all up here. And just say thank you, Adam and Edward, for bringing Legacy to us after so many years beyond Tron. And the series as well. Thank you for that. And my question is, I mean, the series has such a great soundtrack to it. I mean, it's done by the composer and collaborated with Daft Punk for
Welcome to the grid.
and it's such a great soundtrack. And I was wondering, will we be getting a soundtrack from the series?
That's funny. We did a music panel yesterday. Joe and I did one. And there was another question from that specific person, that question, and I really hope so, because the soundtrack is incredible. Joe has really expanded the sound for the show, and it's really incredible. I really hope that they do that. I mean, I think what my answer was yesterday is we gotta finish the season first.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much more music that's still writing to finish out the season, and I really hope so. I think that's my answer.
I'm looking forward to the Blu-ray as well, especially the quality of that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to know why you chose the proportions you did for the characters. Like, why are their torsos really small? How did the creative process came about that?
You know, I think, and Rob, jump in here with me. It's when I first came to this, there's this when you're thinking about stylizing a show for animation from something that's coming from live action, there's a tendency to squish everyone down and give them a big head with big eyes and make them cute, and it just didn't seem like the right way to go with something like this. And looking at the writing when I was first reading it, and at that point Legacy hadn't come out yet, but I had read the script, and it just felt like it needed something that you could take more seriously than like a cute version of the Tron. It just didn't seem right. So I wanted to go in a different direction, in the other direction, and why I approached Rob from the beginning. Rob sort of naturally draws that way. These characters have a lot more detail than you normally see in animation, and they're more elongated and sort of elegant proportions, which is I just think the way he draws is so beautiful, and he was like one of the first calls. I think I called him first, and then and then Alberto at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you guys want to work on Tron? And I'm just like so stoked that they both said yes. I mean, look at the show. It's really those two guys are the core of why it looks that way.
Also, there are no 48-ounce sugared sodas in Oregon City, so you're banned.
Thanks for making this awesome show.
My name's Denise. First of all, Bruce, it's great to see you again. I'm here. Elijah, as always, a big fan, and good to see you. My question is actually for you, Elijah. I know you've done Lord of the Rings. I know you've done The Hobbit that's going to be coming out in 2 months, 3 months, whatever.
A little bit more time than that.
And now you...
But it's coming soon.
And now you've done animations where you actually voice over the character. Which one do you like better, voiceovers or actually getting more into the action than you do with anime?
It's all different, you know? It is really all different. The characters are different. It's sort of, it's all relative, I think, to the individual experience. And doing animation is a lot of fun. The time commitment is a lot less. But, you know,
For some.
As far as voice work is concerned, sorry, Charlie. So I've been working on this for 2 years. It's like a slap in the face. Sorry. It is different. I mean, I love the process of animation, particularly because I love the medium. I think it's a wonderful storytelling medium. With this, it makes so much sense, as Bruce was saying, to use animation to delve further into the grid and tell stories in this universe, and to be a part of that is really exciting. You know, I love doing live action too. You know, it's a lot of fun. As an actor, I think it comes down to the storytelling and just wanting to be part of telling good stories, any which way.
And my mom wanted to ask, are we going to be seeing Dominic and Billy in the new Hobbit movie, or is it just going to be you?
Oh, I don't know if they're gonna make it. I don't know. I don't
We
think
need the comedy duo in there.
I agree. It's not the same without Merry and Pippin.
Okay, so first off, I just want to say thank you guys for putting Lux in the show. It's nice to actually have a siren in there that showing what sirens can do, because sirens are awesome. And they are underappreciated. Cora gets all the glory. But basically, my question is, we know what happens to Tron, sadly. We know that from the movie, though at the end it's kind of hopeful. I was wondering if you guys kind of have a set outline for what's going to happen with the rest of the people in Argon City, with Beck, with Paige, with all of them. Do you guys kind of have an idea what you're going to do, or are you guys just kind of rolling with it because you hopefully are having a second season and more from that? So is it going to maybe tell their story from the Argon side, since everything in Tron Legacy happened in Tron City?
Well, I think that the show takes place in Argon, and of course, you know, the desire is to first Comic-Con.
You need to take that. First moderating game.
Okay, so you know, there's you know, we wrote a Bible for the show, and we have a lot of ideas about how we want the show to connect with Legacy and with the first Tron and with hopefully future Tron. So I guess the answer would be that we want to keep exploring further out into the grid, but while eventually winding our way back into the movies.
And you know, as long as people keep watching, then you know, we'll continue to tell that story, and that's what it'll depend on.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have to make this the last one. This is it, fellas. Sorry about that. Make it a good one.
I was on a panel yesterday with Fred Shore and Chris Borders about the video game, and obviously a lot of the cool thing about Tron is the merchandising. I mean, we saw that with Legacy, and what are the chances of expanding Uprising to other media like comic books, even action figures or collectibles, real life cycles and that kind of stuff. What is the possibilities of that? I mean, because the merchandise for Legacy, I mean, it was awesome, but we want more.
Well, Paul Rubens told me that you're all getting light cycles. No, I would love it. I guess it depends on the popularity of the show. Obviously, if people really like it and they keep watching it, I'm sure they are do merchandise.
Half the vehicles, the new vehicles you see in here, were the hopes that the three of us would get the toy and put it in our office. So the reason that you see a lot of these new vehicles, that was the reason for it.
It's kind of why we do it, for the toys.
We're not kidding.
It's all reverse engineered from toys in our minds. Come on. Okay. Well, listen, guys, we have some really cool stuff to give away. I understand you all have raffle tickets, right? Really? Let me grab one of those things. Yeah, when they call your number, jump up and whoop like on The Price is Right, and then I'll know.
Okay. I have a 450162. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, darling. Do we have that number in the house? 450162. Or I'm keeping this myself. I guess not.
Take her.
How could I not get somebody? Come on. I'm Tron. See how many of you I can take out. It's a beauty. Okay, I'm taking it over. Thank you. Let's try it, and then I'll try again. We'll try another one, okay? Dig in there now. All right, there we go. Dug deep. 450538. Oh, yes. All right, fine.
That's the one.
There you go, my darling. Thank you.
Our grand prize winner, ladies and gentlemen. You are the big winner of the Big Beck poster, and a handshake with Beck himself. Guys, they're kicking us out of here. We've spent too many cycles on the grid. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody.